All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or depending on your time and your location. I'm Engineer Moses Unwafe. Do you really want to have the best solar system set up in your home? For you to have that, you first have to calculate the load of your residential by using a best quality clamp meter of like 600 amps in each phase. Let's assume that in each phase you have 3.7 amps in each phase, and you are using a single phase home supply. Then you impute it into the above formula, which is P equals to I times V, meaning current times voltage. And the operational voltage is 230 volt multiplied by 3.7 being the current to give you what? 800 watts. As you can see above, that means to say the load of your residential is 800 watts. Secondly, by calculating your inverter rating. By calculating your inverter rating, remember that you have the load of your residential to be 800 watts multiplied by safety factors of 25%, as you can see above, which is going to give you 200 watts. 200 watts adding to the load of your residential is going to give you 1000 watts. That is to say, when installing your inverter, you have to go for 1000 watts inverter rating. All right. Thirdly, there is a need for us to calculate the numbers of battery. Let's assume that we have a battery of 100 Ah of 12 volts. If you multiply 100 times 12, it's going to give you 1200. And that 1200 divided by the load of the residential, which is 800 watts, is going to give you what? 1.5 hours. That is to say, if you need a backup hour of 3 hours, that is to say you have to use 2 battery. You multiply 2 times 1.5 is going to give you 3 hours, as you can see above. So we require 2 battery to back up this solar system for 3 hours. There is also a need for you to calculate your charging current and charging time for effective charge controller. So for calculating a charging current is a reciprocal of 10. That is to say, the battery capacity multiplied by reciprocal of 10. 100 times 1/10, which is going to give you 10 amps. For you to know the battery charging time is the battery AH divided by the battery current. So let's assume that the battery current AH is 100 AH, and the battery charging current, which we are just rightly calculated, is 10 amps. Divide by 8 is going to give us what? 10 hours. So that means the battery required 10 hours under a current of 10 amps to charge fully. Lastly, we have to calculate the numbers of solar panel. By so doing, we are going to use this formula, which is power equals to voltage times current, by substituting the battery voltage and the battery charging current, which we assume to be 12 volts and 20 amps. When we multiply 12 volts times 20 amps, is going to give us 240 watts. And this 240 watts, assuming that a panel wattage is 60 watts, we have to divide 60 watts divided by 240, which is going to give us what? 4. That is to say, we require 4 pieces of solar panel for the 2 battery for the backup hour of 3 hours against the day of autonomy for effective installation of this solar system setup. Remember that electrical installation and design is not forecast. You have to follow a due process and standard to ensure safety and effective operation of your equipment. Share this video so that others can as well gain knowledge.